happy GA Flashback Friday, TGIF. Thank God it's Friday. I don't know about you, but I am so ready for the weekend to do nothing and relax. And then I mentioned do nothing and eat good food because Easter's on Sunday, and that means my grandma's gonna cook and put me in a food coma, and I'm completely okay with that. I'm so excited. But we're not here to talk about Easter or to talk about good food or my potential food coma. We are here for GA Flashback Friday, and everybody shed a tear in, I guess, memory of season 1 of Ghost Adventures, because we are at the season finale of Ghost Adventures. We are on the last episode of season 1 for GA Flashback Friday, which is the Idaho State Penitentiary. Now, I enjoyed this episode for a multitude of reasons that we will get into, but before I do that, a little bit of backstory, as always. The Idaho State Penitentiary is in Boise, Idaho. It's over 130 years old, and over 13,000 prisoners call this place hell. It started out as like a frontier prison, and it ended with like riots in the 70s. So nothing good came out of this prison. There was 11 executions in the state of Idaho, 10 of which were done at this penitentiary in the time that it was open. Now, they had many violent deaths there, including a man who was gang raped to death. That's hot. But the most notorious prisoner in the Idaho State Pen was Raymond Snowden, who was like Idaho's Jack the Ripper. He murdered Cora Dean violently by stabbing her 35 times with a pocket knife, along with severing her spinal cord. Now, during the episode, the guys went to a couple of locations there in Boise, the club where he lured Cora Dean, and the cigar shop where they found his pocket knife. And they went there because these places, along with the penitentiary, have documented like paranormal activity as well, and they can only believe that it's due to Raymond Snowden. Now, when Raymond was executed, he was executed by hanging, and typically when someone is hung, the rope is fixed to where when they fall, it snaps their neck instantly, they're dead. However, something went wrong. We don't know if it was purposefully done or if it was just a blatant accident, but the rope was apparently like too long or something, and it, instead of snapping his neck instantly, he basically just strangled to death for like 16 minutes. Now, I don't know about you, but that would piss me off. Just saying. So this was really why the guys wanted to go there in the first place. They knew that it was haunted. They knew that there was paranormal activity, but they really wanted to, I think, kind of meet Raymond. And so that's kind of all I've got. It was a pretty short history. I mean, they did their typical interviews of people who'd have experiences there. A reporter in the Rose Garden had an orb of light kind of above his head, and he was having some pressure in his head. People got pushed. Same old, same old. So with that history being done, it's time, as you guys know, for dun, 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 Lockdown Breakdown. Now, I do this every week as a quick, easy way to pick out some of my favorite parts of the episode and get you on your merry way for your weekend. Okay. And it also gives me prep for Aftershock Saturday, which is actually GA Recap Monday, but I watch it on Saturday. And I just don't spoil it for you guys until Monday. So, Lockdown Breakdown. Now, typically I do like best evidence, scariest moments, funniest moments, which I'm going to do, but we really didn't have any, oh my god, scary moments in this episode. This was pretty mellow on the point of paranormal activity. While they got some really great evidence, nothing really scared the bejeezers out of them. So scariest moments actually isn't a category this week. However, best evidence and funniest moments are. And so we are going to get started with the funniest moment because it actually didn't happen during lockdown. It happened before lockdown. Now, before there was the internal gallows where Raymond Snowden was hung, the gallows were actually outside in the Rose Garden. And when this was happening, this was like a family event. So parents would take their kids to these foothills that are outside of the prison. And they would sit up there with like their picnic basket and their lunch, and they would make a day out of watching people get hung. Because that's normal family entertainment. Are you kidding? But they did it. Whatevs. So Zach and Nick climb these foothills. Now, I like a good hike, right? On like a trail with like signs and stuff, like in the mountains, and it's pretty, and there's big pine trees, and it smells good. Foothills with tall dead grass and rattlesnakes, not my idea of a good time. So I would not have been going on this hike with these guys, because that's exactly what these were. These were hills with snakes, and did I mention snakes and snakes and snakes? And no, the only good snake is a dead snake. And it was funny for that reason, because as we all know, Zach is terrified of snakes, and he's walking in these foothills, and he's like, if I see a snake, I'm going to run and scream like a girl. I don't even care. I feel you, brother. I feel you. I get it. And sure enough, he's like, oh my God, dude, I seen a snake. I seen an effing snake right there. Like, there was a snake there, and there's a snake there. Which leads him to face his fear and pick up a snake. And I love the little disclaimer on the bottom of the screen. Warning, never pick up a wild snake. Well, no shit. Duh. But anyway, he picks up this stupid snake, and he's like, oh my God, I've never done this before. Why are you coming at me, bro? I'm like, because it's a snake and it wants to kill you. That's why it's coming at you, bro. So the best part about that is the snake moves like a little bit, and Zach like throws it. I'm like, oh, that's smart. Let's really piss it off and throw it. But he throws it, and he like takes off running. And he's like, I swear this is like Indiana Jones. The ground is moving. I think the ground is moving. It was just really funny, because here he's trying to do this for the sake of like evidence and for like the sake of the show, but he is terrified. And I just giggle, because I would never in my life. So Zach gets the funniest moment by wigging out over the snakes like a little girl. Again, don't blame him. Totally feel it. It's all good. Which brings us into the best evidence of the show and the best evidence of lockdown. Now, this was a typical standard lockdown. They got EVPs, they got shadows, they got bangs. One of the jumpiest moments, I guess if I can give you one, is they're in the shower room where the inmate was gang raped to death. Like I said, that's hot. And poor Aaron. Of course, this was when Aaron was bait all the time, and Aaron's still bait, although it's kind of, he doesn't care about being bait anymore, but this is when Aaron was bait and he cared about it. So they promised the spirits that if they did, made their presence known, that they would give them a gift. And their gift was Aaron. And so he's in the shower room, they lock him in there, and they're talking, and while they're talking, Aaron's like, whoa, dude, I had a water bottle in my pocket, and it totally just lifted up. And so they do a different angle with a static night vision camera that they have there, and you can see like this shadow like pass by Aaron right at the time that he reacts to the water bottle, and so we can only assume that the spirit was pulling the water bottle. And it made me jump a little bit just because of Aaron's reaction, like his dude reaction, but it was a really good piece of evidence because there was a shadow to back up what Aaron was saying. And so it was kind of like that more than one thing rule where you can have a noise, but if you can't have any, you can't debunk it or whatever, or you can feel something, but if there's no evidence, and it's like the word of mouth, and then you're just wondering, well, did it really happen or not? But this was a shadow with Aaron's instant reaction at the same time, so it made perfect sense that he react that way. Another shadow that they got is Zach was in the cellway door of Raymond Snowden's death row cell, and he was sitting there kind of like this with a camera, and you could see the shadow of the camera, you could see the shadow of Zach's knee, but there's a big black shadow right behind Zach that you can't explain, and Zach at the same time was like, are you touching me right now? I can feel you right now. Is that you? And so, like I said, it was pretty mellow lockdown. Like, they had their bangs and their noises and their unexplained EVPs. They had an EVP say, hey, what? They had one say, I'm okay. Just typical, your typical run-o'-the-mill paranormal. However, the end of the episode produced the best piece of evidence from the episode, and this piece of evidence chilled me to the core. Okay, so the guys used a piece of technology called ITC, or Instrumental Transcommunication, where they take a video camera and they plug in AV cables to the camera and to a television set. Just your run-of-the-mill, nothing high def, nothing fancy, just a run-of-the-mill box TV. They set the camera up 3 feet from the TV. And it produces this feedback, this kind of flickering, real slow, broken feedback. And the idea is that if you call out a spirit in a supposed paranormal location, you can have them come toward that area, basically like walk in front of it almost while it's recording, and that frequency will actually pick up their image. Now, they did this for 30 seconds off and on for an extended period of time. And then they analyzed every frame of evidence, only to get one of the most chilling, like straight out of a horror movie chilling image of this figure with a head, a super skinny neck, shoulders, no hands, no features other than that, with what appears to be like a bag over his head, which is what, or a hood, which is what they did when Raymond Snowden was murdered, or was executed. And so it was just one of those images that what you literally looked at it, it was like something on a Poltergeist. It was just like, oh my God. It was so creepy. It was just black, and you could feel the evil coming off of it. And so that wins the Best Piece of Evidence Award, hands down, because it was creepy city. Like, holy, you know what I'm going to say, kitty cow. It was creepy. Still gives me chills. I can't even deal. So that was really all we got for evidence and for the funniest moments. But we do have a fun fact. Now, actually, after they went and did all of that, they went back to Reno, Nevada, where we got to see Mark and Debbie for the first time. And they analyzed the piece of ITC evidence and the EVPs. Because as we know, Debbie is like the EVP Wonder Girl. She can make sense of any EVP I have ever heard. Like, I'll think it says something and I was completely off base. And then once you really analyze it with her, you really understand, oh, that really was what was said. So it was just an overall really good episode. It was a great way to end out the season. Now, I will be back for season 2, episode 1 of Ghost Adventures next Friday. And I will also be back for GA Recap Monday, this Monday, where I will be recapping a new episode of Ghost Adventures Aftershocks. But that's it. That's all I've got for GA Flashback Friday. I hope you guys have a fantastic rest of your Friday. I hope you have a fantastic weekend. Happy Easter. I will see you guys on Monday for GA Recap Monday. Much love and happiness.